Over the Christmas holidays, I drank a lot of beer, but there was one beer that stood out to me as something that surprisingly I actually kind of liked, and I hate to admit it, but it was a macro beer, it was commercial swill, it was actually the Hans 3.5. Just a super sessionable, super ultra low calorie, low carb beer sitting around 3.5% ABV, and I loved it because it was actually kind of tasty. I could sit on it all day and I didn't get absolutely annihilated. So it got me thinking, I haven't made one of those in a while. Today, we're gonna make an ultra low carb, low cal, low ABV lager. Let's get started. To kick off our brew day, let's talk grain bill. And today, it's actually gonna be incredibly simple. We're using one grain and an adjunct, but one grain going in the mash, and that is going to be 3.3 kilos of Weyermann's floor malted Bohemian Pilsner malt. Yes, you could definitely use a bunch of other Pilsner malts, and it's very likely that this one is not the absolute driest possible finishing malt, but what it does do is give excellent body, that little bit of honey-like character, that biscuity touch of malty sweetness. And as much as we're aiming for a super low carb, super low calorie, low ABV session lager, we do still need flavor, because otherwise, what's the point? So I'm choosing a high quality grain to hold my body for this one. And besides the grain, we're gonna be running with 1 kilo of dextrose. That's just basic corn sugar, and that's gonna really help to dry the crap out of our final product and end up with a really, really low final gravity, resulting in very, very few carbs. Let's crush this, then talk water. Long-time viewers of the channel would be aware that my grain mill is really often on the fritz these days. So out comes the mash paddle, and we're so close. There we go. We're working, we're cranking, we're good to go. Now, let's talk a little bit of science. Water chemistry. It's really basic in brewing. You're basically just calculating parts per million of different salts. In this case today, we're going to be running with 23 parts per million of calcium, 5 of magnesium, 15 of sodium, 31 of chloride, 32 of sulfate, and 57 parts per million of bicarbonate. Now, if all of this is a bit of gibberish, please watch this video right up here, which is Water Chemistry 101, where I dive into exactly what this means, how to calculate it, and when to use it. But the name of the game today is balance. We are keeping our water profile extremely soft, basically just my tap water with the addition of a little bit of gypsum to balance the sulfate and the chloride. Outside of that, I'm not really doing anything to it because this is going to be such a low ABV beer and such an incredibly light-bodied beer that I don't really want an intense or hard water profile in here, destabilizing everything and making it too dry or too talky or just weird. So I want to keep this water profile super, super basic so that the rest of the beer gets to shine. Now it is time to dough in. So we're going to open our grains up. One thing that I'm going to point out is we are going to be adding our dextrose, but there's no need to add this yet. We're going to add this at the start of the boil because we're going to end up having to sparge this stuff anyway, so there's no point of risking leaving any sugars on the table when we can always add them in later. In goes our grains, and this is going to be a very, very very easy dough in today because there's almost no grains for this water ratio, which is kind of wild. So, big old paint mixer. Again, I always talk about this on the channel, but I really do think it is one of the best purchases a home brewer can make. There's a link down below on where you can buy this from Kegland, and I always say it, but we've got an affiliate program with them. Use our link, gives us a kickback, costs you nothing, and we can do more videos. Next ingredient is our little black friend here. This is glucoamylase. Now, there's a few things that we're going to do today to make this a very dry, super low calorie, low carb lager. One of those things is adding glucoamylase, which is an enzyme which really breaks down sugars in a mash. and helps it to finish super, super dry. It's really common to use this stuff in the whiskey making industry because you're really trying to strip out all the sugar. You're not too fussed about body at the end of it because you're gonna boil it and distill it anyway. So we're stealing a trick from our distilling friends and we're adding the glucoamylase in here to really burn up all these sugars and make them fermentable. Little bit of a mix. And I think we are well and truly mashed in now. Job done. We are going to go ahead and start recirculating this stuff for the better part of an hour. We're going to go 30 minutes at a 64 degree Celsius step, followed by another 30 minutes at 70 degrees Celsius before a 77 degree Celsius mash out. Now, the whole point between these two steps is to get maximum fermentability. You can absolutely make a dry beer by mashing it at 64 degrees and holding it for an hour, but you've got a much better chance of maximizing your efficiency if you hit two different amylase steps. Step 1, down at 64, is going to activate all of our beta amylase. Step 2, up at 70, is going to activate all of our alpha amylase. Both of them working together is going to mean a very dry, very low carb beer. Set your clocks, come back in a bit over an hour. Mash out is finished. Time to lift the grain basket up and out. And it's very rare that I can lift that one so easily by myself, but this is a super, super light grain bill because we're making a very sessionable beer. So, time to sparge. If you're new to brewing, we are ringing the sponge by running hot water. Already added the water chemistry components to this, but by adding hot water over the top, we can wring out that extra sugar that's trapped in the grain bed and draining out right now. And that's pretty much all there is to it. I'm gonna sparge with 20 liters of sparge water at 80 degrees Celsius. Once all of that has run through and we've captured all the sugar we can, then we're gonna move on to boiling and talk hops. We are finally boiling and ready to add hops. So we are going to be going with Pride of Ringwood. We are going to go 19 grams / 0.7 ounces. That's going to give us 12.8 IBUs. And really, this addition right now is just giving us bitterness for our lager, so it still tastes like a lager. Go in there, little hop. But it's not really going to add any flavor as such yet. However, we are going to be adding some very late addition hops for this one at the Flameout stage, but I'll talk about that a little bit more then. What I do need to talk about now is if you need to buy any brew gear, go check out our affiliate link down below with Kegland. It costs you nothing, but they've got a massive warehouse of all kinds of awesome brewing gear, just like this Brewzilla here, or the new one that we're using right there. So if you want to go get your brewing gear, use our link down below. It helps us keep funding this channel so we can keep making these kind of videos for you guys. Now, we'll see you when we're at the end of the boil. It is now not the end of the boil, but I just realized we've got things to do. So I am going to go ahead and add my dextrose in now. The reason why I'm adding dextrose, which is, by the way, essentially just corn sugar, is because it is 100% fermentable. The side kicker of adding this particular type of sugar is it does an excellent job of drying out the body of the beer and making it feel much crisper, much cleaner, much lighter, and obviously drier. Because of all of that, we should end up with a much lower final gravity, but still hit our alcohol range, and we're gonna have a very thin finishing beer, which means we're gonna have very, very few carbs, which means less calories after Christmas. So add it in now while it's boiling, because this stuff comes from a factory and you don't know what's in there. I've just added mine and I realized I probably should have been stirring this so I don't scorch it on the bottom of the boiler. I'm gonna do that. Don't do what I just did. Be ready to stir. Now we are at Flameout, and as I promised, we are gonna be throwing in our Flameout hops. This is 58 grams / 2 ounces of Pride of Ringwood, because again, well, we actually don't have to use Pride of Ringwood here. You can use whatever. Why is that not pumping out? Houston, we have a problem. Oh, it's starting. It's not starting. The wort might be too hot for the pump. Hang on. Are we good? Are we not good? Are we kind of good? We've got a trickle. We've got a trickle, ladies and gents. We'll be back after this brief moment of technical difficulties. Oh good, the pump was just too hot and it was having a moment. So, 58 grams, 2 ounces of Pride of Ringwood. It's adding no IBUs, but that's an absolute lie. Brewfather was just on the fritz when I made this recipe. I don't know what's going on with that, but it's definitely going to add a level of IBUs. But I'm using Pride of Ringwood. Reason being, I decided to make this beer over Christmas when I was having Hans 3.5s, which is a macro garbage beer in Australia, but for some reason I really enjoyed it and I want to make my own version. So I want it to taste Australian, hence Australian hops. These guys add a level of fruitiness, herbal quality, and a bit of a touch of spicy earthiness. It's kind of the all-rounder Australian hop. That's what I'm using today because that's what I want in my super crushable session lager, but it's dealer's choice here. Use whatever hop variety makes you happy. I've gone with mine because it's classic Australiana. If you're in the States, go Cascade, go Crystal, go nuts. It's up to you. Once this has cooled down to yeast pitching temp, then we can talk about our yeast. Yeast. This is a new choice for me. I am often a fan of Saf Lager, but I don't often use or have never used Saf Lager's S189. Apparently this comes from the, I'm gonna butcher the name here, Hurlingman Brewery in Switzerland, and it's meant to be a very versatile lager yeast that produces very smashable, very high drinkability style beers. So it's fairly neutral, but it will give us a little bit of herbal kind of floral quality esters, which I think will suit nicely for a session lager that's super low cal. But honestly, the biggest reason I'm using this one is I've never used it before. I often use S23 and W34, so time to try something new. We're gonna try this guy out today and I'll report back with the results.
New year, new Wombat.
New year, new me, and it's time for a good beer because we've almost finished the brew days. Time to treat yourself. I mentioned this in another video, the Tooheys Clone Dark Ale. This one, and link to the Tooheys Clone Dark Ale up there, great beer, Australian beer. But this one is a Yank. This is the Sierra Nevada Pale Ale Clone, or the Sierra Nevada Knockoff. Call it what you will, it's great, it drinks great, it gets you there. I'm having a good time now. Come join me. Come drink this beer. Link to that one up there. I didn't get a gravity rating. Did I get a final gravity rating?
I don't know.
People, did I get a final gravity rating? I'm gonna do one after this anyway. I've had a couple of lemonades. You know. Anyway, we're transferring. So away we go over into the stainless steel tank. I didn't talk about temperature before. We're gonna be using that yeast, but we are gonna ferment at 16 degrees Celsius. I guesstimate 2 to 3 weeks for primary fermentation to be done. Then I'll bump up the temperature by 2 degrees per day for 2 to 3 days. Diacetyl rest, get rid of that buttery compound in the beer, make sure it's finished up cleanly, and then we'll cold crash this baby out and get it into the tank. What I'm hoping for with this beer is that we get a final gravity that's either a flat, dry 1 or as close to as possible. But don't worry guys, I'll be patient for you. I'll see you in about a month from now. And fast forwarding to a couple of weeks later, here are the final results. Now, it is quite clear. The glass is now frosted up, so it's kind of hard to show you guys. I'm pretty sure you'd be able to see my fingers through the glass. If I look through the glass, it's all pretty well crystal clear. I think it has a smidge of clarifying still left to go, probably a smidge left of lagering to actually make it an ultra crystal clear beer, but it's good enough for tasting. So the final result came out to 4.3% ABV, which is almost a full percent higher than planned. I was aiming for 3.5, but let's find out what it actually tastes like. So on the nose, and I've got to be honest, I think I did screw up slightly. I actually went a little bit warm on fermentation. I went a couple degrees higher than I should have. I have no idea why I did. I think I just had a bit of a brain fart because it smells a little bit like a fart. It's got a little bit too much sulfur. So it's just kind of jumping out of the nose a bit. It will probably settle out over time, but word to the wise, ferment around 14 degrees Celsius. I think I did 17 or something from memory. I have no idea why I did that. I just stressed the yeast out a little bit. Probably slight off flavor in there, which is kind of annoying, but is what it is now. Let's go in for flavor. I mean, it's still good. I can't for the life of me remember what hops I used because it was a couple of weeks ago. It was either Spatler or SARS maybe, I'm not sure. Or did I use Pride of Ringwood? I don't know, but there's herbalness in there. A slight floral character. Not really getting any spice. So I think it's a more herbal variety, but it tastes like beer, which was the goal for a beer like this. It's just very much beer flavored beer. Like it's got that kind of like generic lagery taste, that generic herbal quality going on. But what's really cool about this is that this finished 100% dry. So it came out at 1 on the hydrometer when it finished up, which means there is little to F all carbs left in this glass right here. This is truly what you can call a no carb beer, or as close to it as you can get, because there's always going to be some residual microscopic level in there. But for all intents and purposes, this is a 0 carb beer. So if you are watching the waistline, but you still want to sink a couple, this is not a bad recipe. What I would recommend, now that this is lagered out and had the time to start maturing, is A, get the fermentation temperature right, but B, I would say go a little harder on the hops. I expected with this being as low ABV as it is to have a bit more hop presence to it, and that's why I was kind of being a little bit cautious around it, because when you do work with beers with little to no body, because you drop that final gravity so much, the hops become a lot more present and in your face, and I didn't want it to be overwhelming. I want it to be balanced, but you can go harder. You can definitely go another 30%, 35% more hops than what I did. Focus more on late addition to get more of that hop presence in the beer. Would I increase the bittering hops? No, I think the bitterness is good. I think the bitterness is good. I wouldn't want it any more bitter than this. It's perfect. Just a little bit more late addition to cram a bit more hop character, a bit more flavor in this, because the part that I did forget is when you run the body this dry, you do lose some of that overarching flavor. It's not flavorless, it's not water, like it is beer still, but it's on the more subtle side. So if you like a more robust, low calorie lager, then just, up those hops a little bit and it'll kind of get you there. But I would call this an absolute success. It's a beer that I can drink several of. I'm gonna wake up fine tomorrow and I'm gonna be healthy. Anyway, my wife will thank me. But here, I've got to say thank you to the Patreons. Thank you guys for supporting us over on Patreon land. And there's a few chats that have been going on over there around the Patreon's beer. If you're not familiar with what that is, we are taking votes and constructing a beer recipe together. I am not deciding anything this time. It is very much in the hands of the Patreons to decide a recipe, bit by bit, ingredient by ingredient, percentage by percentage, on what reflects home brewers today, what reflects viewers of this channel, and then we, me and Odin, are gonna brew that beer for you guys. So if you wanna help decide what the Patreon's beer should be, check out that link down below. But now, I have got to say thank you so much to everybody that has been watching this channel for the last, I think, 4 years that it's been running, but particularly over the last 3 years, we have been in this location. And it's kind of sad to say that this is the last video we are going to be filming on this site. So thank you so much for watching for the last 3 years. We're not finishing up our YouTube journey, but I am moving house, which means the brewery is moving with me. So there's going to be a little bit of a gap between now and whenever we get our next set of videos out. I'm sorry guys, but I'm being transparent with you now. Bear with us, be patient. I will get things up as running as fast as humanly possible, but thank you everybody for joining this journey. If you've watched to this point in the video, comment adios brewery. Let us know if you guys made it to the end of this one, because I think it got a little bit long, and I look forward to very much seeing you guys from our next location. So stay tuned and we'll see you soon.